Okay, all right, let's go ahead and get started. And before I introduce our wonderful, co-host for this one, I'm going to bring up our wonderful channel sponsor, Aho Patchworks. That's right, Aho Patchworks. You love him, you love him. Yeah, I said that twice. Use coupon code /AGCast just for 10% off for right now. I think that might change in the next couple of months. But in that case, you should be even quicker to do that. But, who is going to be the co-host this time? I know it was different last time. So what about this time? Who is it?
Hello, it's me, Dr. Death. I'm back.
Oh, okay. That's less interesting. All right. How you doing, Dr. Death?
Oh, I'm just doing fantastic. Living the dream.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. Now, I guess, well, no, last time there was a couple of betas. I had to upload it a little bit late. But this was for May, I believe, right?
Yes. This should be for May.
Perfect. I will try to get this done as soon as possible. But I guess, what do we have for the first one for May?
All right, for the first one for May, we have the Guillotine by Budget Arms. And this is a pretty neat one. It's a very futuristic looking Mac Daddy. It's everybody loves the Mac Daddy, but this one's very sci-fi. You can see the picture there. It's very rounded. It looks like something right out of a video game. For all I know,
it
might be
literally looks like from Destiny 2. My immediate thought is this looks like it's from Destiny.
I thought that was what it was, but I didn't want to make the call. But yeah, so I just think it looks neat. I mean, the more meme guns and the more like interesting, cool looking stuff that comes out, the better. I always thought that aesthetics were a really important part of any 3D printing project because, it's neat that it works, but if it works and it looks really cool, you get even more attention.
Some of the coolest thing about Destiny I liked were the guns in it, and this is exactly like a Destiny gun. I'm curious on like the magazine sleeve on there. That's kind of also really interesting. The 3D printed mag sleeve, I guess, is it helps bring the build together and everything. It's a really beautiful picture as well. But so okay, let's just go into this right now real quick. Of what parts is it using? Is it using, I guess, AR-15 fire control group? The magazine, is it a Glock mag spring release, typical Mac Daddy stuff?
Yep, typical Mac Daddy stuff. It just looks really cool. There's that integrated folding brace that is printable. It's got that kind of interesting carry handle optics rail going on there. An angled foregrip. It's angled, so it's legal.
I noticed the slight angle in it, yes.
Hey, that's all it takes. You just need it to be slight. But, I just like the looks of it. We know the Mac Daddy. It's been proven out. It's a solid platform. But, this just puts a fun new spin on it. And it's radical enough that it needed a new beta, because of the folding mechanism and everything. But, it just looks neat. It does look like something out of Destiny. It looks like very sci-fi, very futuristic, very fun. I think it'd be cool to have hanging up on your wall.
Oh, 100%.
Even if you don't shoot.
Oh yeah, no, like this is almost just like a cool prop, if anything else. Like it just being functional is kind of just even more cool in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
But one thing that I'm kind of curious now too, now that I'm looking at it a little bit closer, is it possible to put a optic in the carry handle and like look straight through the carry handle? Like what is it? The XM8, the other fun meme sci-fi gun that doesn't exist truly.
I know. I wish those things were real. Or at least
who knows?
More prevalent. That is something that they're kicking around. I think that is an eventual plan to be able to put a optic right inside of it. There's also now a flat top version without the carry handle.
Oh, that's lame.
And yeah. Well, if some people like the flat tops.
I mean, it's more practical. It's significantly more practical with the flat top. I'm not going to deny that, but that completely erases the cool factor of it.
Well, you see, it's just an option. But yeah. So there's a couple different versions that are coming out. They're continually improving the design. It looks really cool. There's even a version that uses like a wire folding stock if you use a 16-inch upper. Almost like the Macs. Like the Mac 11.9s or the Mac 10s did, which I think's really cool because I've always been a fan of those stocks, like the very basic SMG stock. So there's a lot of things that he's working on, a lot of really cool ideas that are coming out with it. But it's a Mac Daddy, but it's a cool Mac Daddy. It's all fancy and new.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. But I guess, aside from that, anything else major from it that's different, there's no major side plates or anything. It's basically just a typical Mac Daddy.
No.
I can see a little bit of like some other hardware like M3 screws that are going through it, but it looks like your typical stuff you'd normally need for a Mac Daddy.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a pretty straightforward, simple build, but that's a good thing. It's accessible and people can do it really easily, and you can get something that looks really cool and is functional and is a proven design. And there's something to say about the parts availability. The ability to just use a Mac 11.9 upper, which lots of people sell, and an AR fire control group, which is basically ubiquitous at this point. It's neat. I like it.
Oh no, I couldn't agree anymore. I think honestly this is one of the most aesthetically pleasing looking guns. I guess let's move on to the next one, I guess, because it is a Mac Daddy, so I'm not really sure what else we can add to it besides that.
Yeah. We have the Decimator 22 by Decimal. And this is really cool because it's a hybrid Ruger 1022 with an AR-15 fire control group and lower. So it takes Ruger mags. It's almost entirely printed. You need a barrel and a bolt. And other than that, you can print an AR fire control group. You can, the whole barrel sleeve here is printed. I like it. I think it'd make a really neat, lightweight backpacking gun or like survivalist gun. It makes use of a folding stock or a brace if you want to have a shorter barrel. I like the Ruger 1022. I've always had good luck with them. It's got an optic rail on the top there. It's a 22, and 22s are fun. I also would like to point out how happy I am that they're using a wood floor as the background.
That is nice. I will agree with you on that. I will say, I've been trying to build the 1022 build for a while. My only issue with all of them are the parts kits end up costing more than just buying a brand new one for me.
Yeah, no, they do. They do. That's the problem with those popular FUD guns.
Like, they used to be cheaper at one point for like a lot of builds, and then the CMMG, like what is it? The Bravo, that one. The 22 conversion kit. Like that kind of just took over with how easy it is to do. And a lot of printed builds just started using that because all of the actual like blast and everything was contained in that bolt mechanism. So it was really nice.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, no, exactly.
I have no idea how the Ruger 20 or 1022 mechanism is. I'm assuming it's just a direct blowback as well. But there's probably a little bit more to it than like the self-contained AR-15 bolt system.
A little bit. I mean, not so much with this one. You basically just got a reciprocating mass, so it's just kind of a big square of metal that's going to be sitting in there, and it's another option. So the AR hammer would smack the back of the bolt and it's just going to cycle back. There's not a ton to the Ruger 1022, but probably not quite as simple as the CMMG, but you've got 50 or 60 years of innovation tied up in that CMMG.
Oh yeah, I do like the CMG one, but I do also prefer the Ruger mags. They're a lot more fun to use and a lot more reliable in my experience. I guess, I do like the CMG Bravo just because it spoiled me in that regard if it keeps me in the AR-15 ecosystem, but that seems like a fun, like, printed build. 'Cause I will probably buy myself a 1022 at some point just because my dad wants to start getting into shooting, and I think that'd be a fun like gun to start working on.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, they're a very simple gun, and you can accurize them just to an insane degree. Well, you can really customize them.
Well, that and also... Well, okay, so I guess, if anything, this is just a 1022 that uses an AR-15 fire control group.
Yes, no, you're correct. Yeah, it's fun,
Again, I just wish I knew more about the 1022, like, as a platform, really. I just don't.
No, I don't. Well, like I said, there's not much to say about them. They're just a very basic direct blowback 22 semi-auto, and they're very fun, and parts are really easy to get, and you can customize the heck out of them. So this is going to be a really neat little carbine or pistol, depending on how you build it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I did know like what is it Winchester is I just saw it recently. They're making their own like 1022 clone.
Oh, for sure.
It's
Yeah.
a 1022 clone from Turkey that apparently isn't a full 1022 clone. That the parts aren't
Yeah.
interchangeable, but the mags are, so that's nice.
Well, that's very nice, and it's Turkish quality, so you know it's going to be good.
I'm so tempted just to get it, like, and just troubleshoot all the issues it comes with. I just expect it to come with issues because it's Turkish.
Winchester. It's Winchester. They'll buy it.
What has Winchester made a good thing outside of World War II?
I like the Model 70. The Model 1200's a good shotgun.
Okay, well, yeah, those are some fun cope answers. I guess let's go to the next build. I think this one is this the Immortal Revolt one?
Yeah. So this is the Rebel 9. It's an integrally suppressed 9mm commando carbine. That's how he describes it. It's got a collapsible stock, curved double feed magazine. It's a totally DIY bolt extractor and ejector. So this one actually does have an extractor, which is pretty exciting. You know, it's got a progressive recoil spring, anti-bolt bounce system, and an out-of-battery safety, because everybody knows that sometimes you get those. He's got 5 different barrel options with it. The most compact version, when it's all collapsed together, is only 305 millimeters. That's according to him, which is pretty interesting. And it uses a printable FTN.3 suppressor, which rolled out recently, and that thing's rated for full auto, so it's going to hold up. Obviously, you have to obey all your laws if you're going to do that.
Of course,
and
laws, yeah.
Yeah. But it's just really neat. It's an evolution on his earlier Partisan 9 design. I think it looks really cool aesthetically. He says the bolt is very, very easy to build, which is good, because the more simple you make a design, especially a DIY design, the better. I'm excited for it. I think it'd be cool to build one. Like I said, I like the little submachine gun look. It's got like sort of a CZ Scorpion or MP5 sort of look to it. It looks like a factory gun. That's what I think's really neat.
Well, I mean, okay, so it basically checks all the boxes for what I want, and like a fun DIY PCC, something that would be a true, successor of an FGC9 would be a full extractor, ejector system.
Yeah.
The collapsible stock I like a lot, so there's no more buffer tube. That's very, very nice.
Yeah.
The integrally suppressed suppressor. So is there a non-integrally suppressed option?
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and so the fire control group, is that using another AR-15 fire control group, or is it a...
No, it's its own design, which is pretty interesting. It's his own mechanism.
Could you use a AR-15 fire control group? Or is it all printed?
It is all printed. It is all printed. I'm not going to say that you can't, but I know that this one, at least, does not use an AR fire control group. It uses its own thing, which is DIY and very simple. And, it's what he wanted to have, because in some parts of the world, AR fire control groups, even though they are printable, are harder to get.
Yeah, that's a good point. Honestly, this looks like a very good successor to the Partisan 9.
I agree. I think it's a really good evolution of the design. I think it looks really nice. I'd like to see some of them out in the wild. I'd love to see people start building them.
Well, that's ultimately it. Of this honestly is everything I probably would want in a build. Now, I guess, because I want to say, was one of them an open bolt build or something, or
he had some open bolt designs for people in other countries that could do that, and he had versions that were select fire and things like that for people that are SOTs. But the one that's going to be up for beta testing is just semi-auto closed bolt.
Okay, because in that case, I might just try to do that one, because this seems like, honestly, one of the best possible builds you could do.
Yes, exactly.
Of like, yeah, it has the open bolt extractor, fully DIY build. Of it also even has it doesn't use. I guess it's not using Glock mags in this case. Oh, let me ask
No,
that question real quick. Of does it use Glock mags, or did the parrot convince Immortal Revolt to just completely stay away from Glock mags?
the parrot absolutely told him no more Glock mags, and they listened. And so it uses printable double feed mags, which is nice. Everybody likes double feed.
The real question is this: are those like unique mags, or are these Evo mags? Because
I believe they're bait.
they look
Oh,
like
go
Evo
ahead.
mags. They look like Evo mags, but I don't have one, so I couldn't tell you if I could.
They look like an Evo mag. I don't know if they are. I know that are Evo mags double feed. I forget.
I believe
I haven't
that's their.
seen them in a while.
I believe the Scorpion Evo mags are double stack double feed, but I couldn't tell you. They look a lot
It's
like the printable Scorpion Evo mags, but
yeah.
I don't own a Scorpion Evo,
Uh,
so I couldn't tell you.
yeah. I don't either. I would not be surprised if they are. It makes sense if he went with that because that's a proven out design.
Well, okay, so yeah, I mean, suppressor wise, we're saying it uses the FNT3, which is, I mean, already a pretty
Yeah.
good one. The stock looks like it's unique. Yeah, look almost like a Sencut Sen like bar you could do.
Yeah. Yeah. He has a whole template for it.
And then yeah, the stock looks unique. I guess let me ask for those who want to comply with their local laws. Is there a brace option as
Yes.
well?
Yes. Yes. There's a brace version as well. That way you can stay nice and safe.
So this is the fun configuration, and you can make a sad configuration
Yes.
at home. All right, I'm glad to hear that. All
Ex-
right, so in that case, maybe I might make a configuration for myself. In that case, the sad
Oh,
configuration.
for sure.
But
I'm looking forward to seeing you do it, and now I'm going to hold you to it.
I will. I mean, if the bolt as simple as it is, as he says, maybe who knows?
Yes.
I guess yeah. No, really. I mean, what else is there to say? It seems like a better version of the
Yeah.
Partisan 9, and yeah, like almost. I wouldn't say in every way because the Partisan 9 V2s. I think that one also had the extractor, right?
I know they were working on the extractor with that one. I don't know if it was ever actually implemented because that's still in beta, the V2. So if it didn't have the extractor, it does now.
Well, because like
Because no.
that's ultimately the big thing for me that I liked about the Cobra 9 was that the extractor ejector system was really nice and worked very, very well.
Yes.
Like
No,
that.
it's important.
Well, it definitely helps a lot with the reliability. It just makes it work way more consistently than everything else. Because like with an
Absolutely.
FGC9, it could be a little bit finicky with the firing pin length, but with an extractor ejector system, that kind of just it takes out a lot more of the variability to it, and it just sort of runs more reliably, in my opinion.
Oh yes, absolutely.
But aside from that, I guess, or anything else you want to add to it, or are we ready to go to the next one?
No, I think we're ready to move on to our last one, actually.
All right, what's the last
This
one?
is, well, it's everyone's favorite. It's the Glong.
The Glong?
The Glong. The Glong.
It's the
The
Glong, huh?
Glock that's also a bong.
No way.
And it's finally in beta. Yeezy Prince brought it out and said, okay, enough of this just being like a meme. Let's actually beta test it and get people to run it through its paces and see how far we can push the thing. So it is a wonderful decorative item for tobacco use only, or for no use only. It shoots. And yeah, it is a very legendary print. As we all know, PSR did a marvelous video on it at one point and has a very catchy song tied to it. And, everybody loves Yeezy, and he's not controversial at all. And so, like, I think this is just going to be great.
You know, I dude weed Lamau. But I mean, I'm trying to even think what else can we even add to this besides for what's already obvious in it. But I'm guessing is this an FMDA frame?
Yeah, it's an FMDA frame that was adapted, and it improved, I would say.
So I would assume it uses the typical DD rails, the whatever
Yes,
typical area, typical Glock parts kits, whatever. Okay, so it's a Glock 17 or is it a Glock 19?
17.
17. Okay, yeah, I've seen this being fired before. I know what this is like. It's not. It's a fun little goofy little thing. That being said, is the ball will definitely move if you shoot it, and that will fly off because shocker, recoil does that to things. And but hey, it's the fun little meme gun. That's all else I can add to that really.
I'm just gonna say, like, as someone who has made something similar to this, but with a high point, uh, they are hilarious to keep just on a shelf.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. It's just every time you see it, it's like, yeah, that exists.
It just embraces freedom.
It's like this is exactly what I imagine 3D printed guns to be like. This is
Yes.
very this right next to an FGC night encapsulates everything that I find everything I love about the community.
Just absolutely beautiful. I love it.
But yeah, it's the Glong. What else could we really add to that? Well, I
Yes.
think that's a fantastic place to end it. Let's go to I guess what about releases? Did we have any releases this month for the month of May? That it totally
The
is.
month of May. Let me check here because I did not. I forgot that we're doing that now.
Don't worry with the power of editing.
Yeah. So the V4 Plastikov came out, which everyone, I mean, that thing's just awesome.
I got to
I
see
don't
that
know.
thing. Watch that one at AK Masters on. Yeah, it did very well. In fact, I will say the best ones, of course, were the nylon printed ones. I think for a competition style shooting, the heat could probably start to be a factor. The guy who had a PLA one said his optics started like he felt a little bit of a shift, but that could have also just been the heat of like the day. It was a hot South Carolina, 100-degree summer day.
No,
So,
for sure.
but like the nylon prints were running like champs the whole way through without any hiccups whatsoever. And again, the issues the guy that was having with his or PLA Plastikov was just his zero was shifting a bit much, which honestly for competition is kind of really really annoying. But I mean,
Oh,
it's
for
still
sure. Yeah.
it still was firing in the safe direction. Just I guess opened up his groups just to a point where he was like, I'm not gonna deal with this today.
No, I agree. I did just get into nylon printing. I bought an X1 carbon, and I have been experimenting with the nylon, and I like it. It's fun.
Yeah, I after that competition, my thought was, you know what, I really want to do a Plastikov build because that was the part that really amazed me was a lot of people who saw the Plastikov build, they were like, this competition was not like a 3D printed gun competition, not like everyone that was there was doing 3D printed guns, but
No.
like it was a competition where a lot of 3D printed gun guys decided to like almost crash and a lot
Oh
of the
yeah.
people there just saw like the printed guns and were like, wait, that's a polymer AK and it's running? That's insane. I want to see that. Can I take a shot out of that? That seems really cool. Can I look at that more? And like that was always really cool to me. Like that part was honestly the most like interesting of all of it was like people were
Oh yeah.
just fascinated with this polymer AK that was running like that people that if only we had good shooters on our team, maybe that would have helped us a lot more. But well, yeah, if we were like it was running at the gun was running perfectly fine. At that point, it was all user issues of like, why weren't we number one? Why were we number two? If we were actually good shooters, we probably could have taken it pretty far. The issue is we're just not good shooters. But like,
Well,
yeah,
that's fine.
but like, yeah, no issues whatsoever. Everything was just more of like, oh, you just missed a couple of shots. Okay, well, that's just because you're just not used to competition shooting. But
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
my thought is, I just want to build one. I just want to build either a Plastikov. A Plastikov might be that'd be a fun one. I was thinking Spooky's fun, like mutant build, just because that'd be even more cursed.
Oh yeah. That'd be fun.
A fun like just absolutely for the AK competition. Not only just bring a 3D printed AK, but a mutant 3D printed AK to just make it even more cursed.
It sounds like a marvelous plan. I support it. Like I said, I really want to build one, especially now that I can do it in nylon.
Well, yeah, nylon I think is for competition. I think that's probably the best decision you could do, especially
Oh
if
yeah,
it's something
absolutely.
especially if something like an AK, an AR lower. I think probably doesn't get as hot and won't probably
No,
need
no,
it
no.
as much. But like for an AK set, me hell, like even a Glock or most of the other printed like handgun frames, you probably would want to do nylon.
Yeah, I agree. And especially now that nylon's getting so much easier to print because the printers are getting more advanced, it's really starting to be a more viable option for even new printers, like new people to get into.
Well, yeah, now I just really just need to get a good dryer, I think, because I think my printer can do it. It's just now I need a good filament dryer that allows me to like actually, dry my. Because I know nylon, carbon fiber nylons usually pick up water a lot easier than like normal PLA
It
does.
does.
So like you need a
Yeah,
good filament dryer. So like that's the one thing that's holding me back now is just I just need to get a good filament dryer.
I'm just using like a Sunlu and printing right out of the box, and I just keep it turned on kind of all the time, and it seems to be working.
You know what? That gives me confidence. I might try that then. But
Yeah.
I guess do we have any other releases right now?
No, no, that is it for the month of May.
All right, I guess any fun conclusions? What else do you want to add for this one? Hopefully, we can get this one out a little bit.
Absolutely.
What about you? How you been doing so far? Anything you want to say before we end off?
Oh, I'm just living the dream. I am doing so well. Like I said, I got a X1 carbon. I've started printing all sorts of crazy stuff. I redid a bunch of my frames in nylon. I finally got my Glock 34 to run right because I had to, kind of beat the heck out of it a little bit, and get all the parts to mesh together. Because it turns out if you put in lots of fancy parts all at once, the Glocks sometimes don't mesh together quite nicely, and you have to shoot them quite a bit, and then they start to work again.
Yeah, go figure about that. I don't make enough Glocks to tell you that, but yeah, I believe you.
I got given a kit.
And I got an Oculus Quest. You know what? That's gonna be that's been taking a lot of my time. That's been fun.
I forgot. I got the last Lorsen that I needed. I now own one of every Lorsen that was ever made. Somebody messed up the barrel. I'm gonna have to like rebarrel it. I don't know, but it took me like 2 years to find this one. It is a like 3-pound double stack 13 shot 380. And it's like the size of a Desert Eagle. It is amazing, and I love it so much.
I mean, it's a Lorsen, so I guess you have to rebarrel it, so that can be quite hard.
No, it's just driving out a pin. I'm gonna use a one of those Chazelle barrel liners. I think that's probably the same size as the original Lorsen barrel. And yeah, I'm gonna drive out the pin, and then it's just a matter of pulling out the old barrel, putting the new one in, and cutting it for the extractor. So that I can do that with a Dremel.
I mean, that sounds like a fun one. I'm looking forward to see how that project goes. But I guess if that's anything else we might want to add, I guess
No, I was just gonna say I might thread the barrel too. I'm deciding that.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna mention like I think last month it was kind of nice. We were able to get some of what was it? We were able to get some of Kat's side of behind the scenes stuff, so that was fun. Hopefully, some people got to hear some stuff like about behind the scenes for the beta, like I guess some of the standards and like qualifications you need for like cataloging betas and stuff. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, no, it is pretty interesting.
But hopefully that should have answered a lot of people's questions. I guess if people still have more, they could ask again, because ultimately that was you are the one still in charge of the betas.
I am. But Katz is in charge of all the documentation, which helps me a lot because we've become so busy with various betas and new projects starting, and the projects have become complex enough that we've had to start splitting up some of these duties. Whereas, like, I am the beta manager, but Katz is in charge of checking over your documentation, making sure that you have everything done correctly. And I think that it's really helping out a lot.
No, yeah, I mean, it's just interesting getting to hear his side of the story for a lot of the documentation stuff. It's very interesting hearing the guy who actually has to go through a lot of people's stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
But I guess, aside from that, we can keep this one nice and shorter too. So I guess until then, see you guys hopefully next month. That will probably be a lot closer. Hopefully they'll be a lot closer. But we will see. All right. See you guys then.
All right.
Thanks for listening.